Just a few minutes ago, police started taking away those barriers that have been here since 11 a.m. And now there is a barrier of officers. These are State Patrol officers as well as MPD officers. Right now, the crowd is chanting, "ICE out now." I'm not exactly sure why police are making the decision to take down these barriers. The crowd is only continuing to grow throughout the afternoon. We've seen people here throwing ice and snow at some of the officers. One woman went in the street and was trying to block an MPD vehicle from driving away, and then she moved out of the street. But ever since a few minutes ago, they have started to take down these barriers. The crowd has only gotten louder and more agitated. People were trying to basically rip the caution tape that's surrounding the perimeter here and go into the street. Well, Julie, I first want to start with the thousands of people who are now here at 34th and Portland. I know Gordon was on the ground. It was kind of hard to see just how many people are here now at this vigil where this killing happened earlier today. What I do want to talk about is what we saw around 2 p.m. today when Minneapolis police left the scene and they took down those barricades. You can see in this video, protesters, they started flooding the streets once those barricades came down. Those protesters were throwing ice and snowballs at officers, and then things turned even a little bit more violent as people started kicking police cars. And eventually, our cameras caught someone throwing an object that smashed a side window of one of the police vehicles. From there, protesters marched for blocks throughout the streets of Minneapolis. We did talk to Councilmember Jason Chavez at the scene. I want you all to take a listen to what he had to say today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a federal invasion of our neighbors with immigration enforcement happening across South Minneapolis and across our state, where ICE officials are just so excited to tear our families, our neighbors, our loved ones apart.
And I want to be clear that things are incredibly peaceful here right now. There's just people talking, there's people banging on drums, no sign of violence whatsoever. But just in case things were to turn violent, Governor Walz has called up mobile units of the State Patrol to make sure things remain peaceful. He also said that tonight the Minnesota National Guard is on standby in case things were to escalate here. Julie.
All right.
Rena, the perspective about what happened here today seems to be split among party lines, with President Trump and DHS officials saying the shooting was justified, while local leaders believe it was not.
That is my biggest concern.
One day after Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said he was concerned someone could be killed while federal agents were in Minnesota, it happened. Just before 9:30 this morning, 37-year-old Renee Good was shot and killed in her vehicle by an ICE agent at 34th and Portland Avenue South in South Minneapolis. This immediately led to a massive law enforcement presence at the scene and protests, which at times turned intense. Reaction quickly poured in from state and federal leaders, with conflicting narratives playing out along party lines.
This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents. An act of domestic terrorism.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says an ICE vehicle got stuck in the snow and was being blocked as ICE officers tried to push the vehicle out. Noem says agents told Good to get out of her vehicle. She refused and then tried to run an ICE agent over.
The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz both contradict that perspective.
Apparently from the federal government, from the Homeland Security Director herself, has already determined who this person was, what their motive was, and they hadn't even been taken out of the vehicle. We're not living in a normal world.
To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
On Truth Social, President Trump said in part, quote, "The reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis." The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and FBI are both investigating.